Susan Collins broke her promise to protect Roe v. Wade and cast the deciding vote for Trump's justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. Now states are banning abortion without exceptions. Tell Susan Collins, stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
I was working on one greasy pan. I went to get a scraper, and that's why I switched to Dawn Pro. It cuts through tough commercial grease and easily rinses away.
This is sad
Dawn
world.
Pro, the better professional grease kit.
Oh, just the amount of waste. And then when that waste also produces a lot of chaos, suffering, and more waste. But I mean, they're profiting on some end, so hooray for them. Aren't they smart? You know, there's smart, and then there's smart. Smart ass. Wasn't there a candy called Smarties? Yeah, no, they have the gummies, the Smartie Pants. Yeah, tried those. To see you go, my sweet summer's gone. Left me here, sand in my bed, she played me all night long, but I do it all over again. My sweet summer's gone, on my bed, she made it clear, lipstick can't be wrong. My sweet summer's gone. My sweet summer's gone.
March 18, 2026, a trooper spotted a red Ford rolling down the road with expired tags. He flipped on his lights and signaled for a traffic stop, and to his surprise, the driver actually pulled over.
How y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
This is your Arkansas State Police Highway Patrol.
This is a recent look in Arkansas State Police Trooper Jacob Burke, focusing on a series of incidents across Little Rock and surrounding areas. In these cases, Burke responds to a range of situations, including high-speed pursuits, vehicle attempting to evade traffic stops, and coordinated responses with local agencies. The incidents involve interstate chases, city-street pursuits,
a volatile personality, anger issues with women, verbal abuse. It's not Grant Plattner, it's Troy Jackson. Jackson has a history of conflicts with women, bullying, even intimidation. Jackson's conduct was so bad, his fellow Democrats raised alarm bells about his temperament. Jackson is like Grant Plattner, but worse. Decades as a political insider, accused of mortgage fraud, unpaid taxes, and bankrolled by powerful lobbyists. That's the real Troy Jackson. SLFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
and suspects attempting to flee both by vehicle and on foot. Part 2 continues this compilation with additional cases that reflect the pace and variety of Burke's work and patrol, showing how each situation is handled as it develops over time. In this recent incident from March 2026, Arkansas State Police assisted the Little Rock Police Department during a pursuit involving a blue Ford driven by a wanted felony suspect, later identified as Abram Valtierra.
Vehicle did not rush him. Coming to have you. He didn't know firearms.
TBI
scene. What's done is shut down. LRPD's doing early takeout. Crossfire, guys! Crossfire! Depart! Depart!
After moving into primary position, Bird performed a pit maneuver near mile marker 116, bringing the vehicle to a stop in the inside lane. Little Rock police officers took Valtierra into custody without further incident. He was charged with 2 counts of theft of property, first-degree criminal mischief, felony fleeing involving substantial danger of death, and reckless driving. In late November 2022, Arkansas State Police were involved in the pursuit of a black Dodge Charger. Trooper Bird assisted as the vehicle continued to evade, with the driver maintaining speed while moving through the area. Units remained in pursuit as the situation developed. The pursuit ended when the Charger left the roadway and collided with a large tree, bringing the incident to a stop. In early December 2022, Arkansas State Police were involved in a high-speed pursuit. Trooper Jacob Bird joined the pursuit as the vehicle continued to evade his speed. He maintained position while tracking the vehicle's movement as the situation developed. Bird moved into position and performed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to strike a wall and come to a stop, ending the pursuit. Little Rock police initiated a pursuit involving street racers. Arkansas State Police units, including Trooper Jacob Bird, joined as the vehicles moved onto the interstate and continued at a high speed. The drivers attempted to evade while traveling through traffic as units coordinated their response. The pursuit remained active as state police maintained control of the interstate and worked to bring the situation to an end.
Yeah, good morning.
Trooper Jacob Burr with Arkansas State Police conducted a traffic stop on a Nissan Sentra for speeding and displaying a fictitious license plate. During the stop, the vehicle suddenly fled, leading to a pursuit. The pursuit continued through the area and ended near Baptist Hospital, where the driver exited the vehicle and refused to comply with commands.
For me, for now.
Come your hand down! Get on the ground! Now! You don't get on the ground, protect you! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! No, you're not! Get on the freaking ground!
After a brief struggle, the driver fled on foot toward an apartment complex. Trooper Bird, along with assisting units, pursued and took the driver into custody. A handgun was recovered from the vehicle. The suspect was transported to the Pulaski County Regional Detention Center to await charges. In late January 2023, Arkansas State Police assisted the Benton Police Department during a pursuit involving a blue Jeep Liberty, suspected to be connected to breaking or entering incidents. The pursuit began on Interstate 30 eastbound, where the vehicle reached speeds of approximately 100 miles per hour before exiting near mile marker 120.
Good morning. Yeah, we're gonna do it just for today. Good, thanks. How are you? Yes, good, thanks. Awesome. I can mash potato. Do the twist. Tell me, baby. Looks like I don't have the just for today out here. Unless it beseeches me. We'll have to do one of those later. Or you can just read it. I don't have that one out here, so we'll have to do it another time. We've read July 29th quite a few times anyways. You can read it from your copy. This is Thy People, My People. Thank you for the request. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Be not against me. Alexa, shut off. Be not against me, to desire that I should leave thee and depart. For whithersoever thou shalt go, I will go, and where thou shalt dwell, I also will dwell. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God, the land that shall receive thy dying. In the same will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so and so to me, and add more also, if aught but death part me and thee. Ruth 1:16. The Linen Service just pulling out. The Bruce Publishing Company, Milwaukee. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh. Too funny. Do a random? Page 108. Thy People, My People. I don't know what the name of this chapter is. Chapter 14. Page 108. Is he taking the boat too? Yes, Faderi, for Manila. Fader. Yes, Fader, for Manila. The boy stretched forth his arm. Is it there? Around a distant promontory moved a small inter-island steamer, the sun gleaming on its white sides and polished railings, its funnel leaving a long plume of blackness in its wake. Before long it had felt its cautious way into the bay and was made fast alongside the wharf. The usual gang of barefooted, straw-sombered loafers clustered around the gangplank. A group of Manila-bound passengers formed a protective circle about their aggregation of bundles, baskets, militas, wicker satchels, and belongings. No sooner had the gangplank touched the pier, than a thin-faced, sallow little figure in a black cassock bounded ashore, his Roman style of clerchal. So beautiful, yeah, the breeze coming in. The temperature is perfect. Roman style of clerchal hat nearly coming off in the maneuver, He launched himself directly at the Pari Pade, Pari-Padi. Ah, Mr. Pedroche, he chortled dramatically. Pedroche is Pedroche. You can say Pedrock. I say Pedroche. He chortled dramatically. Chortled. We met again. We meet again. We meet again. We meet again. Good morning. We're reading from Thy People, My People, page 108. We meet again. We meet again. And what are you doing here, if I may ask? Trying to spread some more of your foolishness, eh? The wolf in sheep's clothing is back. Is San Jacinto again? Jacinto? In San Jacinto. You say Juanito? Okay. Whatever you want. Jacinto? The wolf in sheep's clothing is back in San Hito again. I know. And see, sometimes when that happens, and then they will try to see if it's actually live and that someone just didn't have something specific ready to play when they came in to listen. No, it's live right now. It's 8:57. 8:58 here in the morning. Anti-meridian, yes. Trying to spread some more of your foolishness, eh? The wolf in sheep's clothing is back in San Jacinto again, eh? Like a bantam rooster. A bantam rooster, B-A-N-T-A-M. Bantam. Like a bantam rooster, he stood up to the amazed Pedrock. It takes nothing to gather a crowd in the Orient. Here was an event, an open challenge, a ring formed immediately. Ferrer, Terrio said excitedly. That little one. That is Ferrer Philippil. Very strong Romano. He always win that Pari. Mr. Pedroche was upset by the appearance of a lifelong foe. His words lacked fitness. Go back to where you came from, he rasped in his loud voice. You infantile little monkey. Ha ha, friends, said Father Philippil, turning the attention to the crowd. You hear? He calls me infallible. Mr. Pedroche, why do you, an Alpilpaniano, give me this great honor? Monkey, you are Catolico Romano. Is not your Pope infallible? We say the Pope infallible, hey? You hear, everybody? And what does that mean? You know, Mr. Pedroche? Most certainly I do, blustered the big man. Tell me then. I, and all these good people, would like to see if your brain is as big as your boasting. Maybe you are all smoke and no fire. The crowd edged in closer. Taking a deep breath, Mr. Pedroche prepared to launch into a vindication of his mental powers. Quick as a flash, his diminutive opponent threw up an impetuous hand. Wait! He commanded. He whipped a small paperlet from his cassock pocket and, signaling out a man and woman who had all the earmarks of a lawyer and a teacher,
He thrust the booklet into their keeping. Here, this is the Cateskimo. You find it in the word infallibility. It tells what it means. Good. You know, I'd be fine if they wouldn't laugh at me. No, not that it upsets me. It's no bother. It just makes me laugh. And then it interrupts the reading. And then you think I'm a failure. Anyways. Love, health, and peace out. I really hope they address the facts and concerns here soon. We are going to make some lemon green drink and make some lovely waffles. You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Yeah, we can read that in a little bit. I'm listening to some of this. Probably going to work on a footbed mat a little bit. Some breathing. Yeah, I'm going to do some muscle work. I'm trying to take it easy. Yeah, if I overdo it, it just makes me feel sick, you know? I don't know why. Why did she swallow a fly?
In late January 2023, Arkansas State Police assisted the Benton Police Department during a pursuit involving a blue Jeep Liberty, suspected to be connected to breaking and entering incidents.
Spy
The
flies.
pursuit began on Interstate 30 eastbound, where the vehicle reached speeds of approximately 100 miles per hour before exiting near mile marker 126. The driver continued south on Highway 111
That
to
is a
Alexander, then
myth.
proceeded eastbound on Alexander Road toward Baby Ridge Road. Trooper Jacob Bird joined the pursuit as it continued through the area, moving into positions as unit coordinated their response. During the pursuit, the driver entered the oncoming traffic lane multiple times while traveling at speeds exceeding 70 miles per hour in a posted 35 mile per hour zone.
Show me your hands! 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 Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Now! Hey guys, careful, careful, careful. I've only seen two. Let's look at him down a minute. Hey, one hold, watch him. Let's clear the car. Clear the car. Watch. Alright, chill. Chill.
At the intersection of Alexander Road and Industrial Parkway, a trooper executed a pit maneuver, bringing the vehicle to a stop. The driver then continued by leaving the roadway, driving through a fence and into a field where the vehicle became stuck. Both the driver and passenger exited the vehicle, complied with commands, and were taken into custody without further incident. Arkansas State Police conducted a DWI stop involving a female driver following signs of impairment. Trooper Duncan initiated the stop with Trooper Jacob Bird assisting as the investigation continued at the scene. The driver showed indicators consistent with driving while intoxicated as troopers carried out standard procedures. The driver was arrested for DWI, bringing the incident to a close.
Tell that caller to back off. Highway 16 now. Still westbound. Passing QT. Speed it up. 35. Westbound. Passing QT. 39.
Give us a minute.
Copy, vehicle stop, target road. Male, step out the vehicle. Step out. Step out of the vehicle and come back to us. Turn around and walk backwards to us. Turn around and walk to us. No, just turn around and walk to us normal. Just walk to us. Walk to us. You're drunk. You're an idiot. Yeah, you are. You're drunk. Yeah, you
In early May 2023, Trooper Jacob Bird with Arkansas State Police observed a white Toyota Camry speeding on Interstate 30 westbound and initiated a traffic stop after it exited onto Interstate 630. As Bird approached the stopped vehicle at a red light, the driver fled, continuing at a higher rate of speed and running multiple red lights. The vehicle turned onto Broadway Street, where it struck another car at an interstate before leaving the roadway and coming to a stop after hitting restaurants' outdoor seating area. Taken into custody on 6th Street. Bird detected the odor of alcohol, and the driver later admitted to drinking. The individual was transported for medical evaluation, where a small bag of marijuana was recovered from his pocket and taken into evidence. In late May 2023, Trooper Jacob Bird with Arkansas State Police identified a silver Dodge Challenger displaying a Texas license plate registered to a different vehicle while patrolling Interstate 30 westbound. As Bird continued behind the vehicle, the driver slowed briefly before accelerating sharply, pushing past 100 miles per hour. High-speed pursuit. posted 45.
Now! Get on the ground! I'm not playing with you! Get on the ground!
The vehicle exited 65th Street, left the roadway, and crashed after striking multiple.
Get on the ground now! Get on the ground! I'm not playing with you! Get on the ground!
The vehicle exited 65th Street, left the roadway, and crashed after striking multiple signs at a culvert. The driver fled on foot but was taken into custody nearby without further incident. He was transported to Baptist Health for medical clearance and then to the Pulaski County Jail. In mid-September 2023, Trooper Jacob Bird with Arkansas State Past Bird identified it as dark-colored Jeep Grand Cherokee and used his spotlight in an attempt to slow the driver. Instead, the vehicle accelerated, reaching 77 miles per hour and continued to gain speed. As Bird closed the distance, radar showed the vehicle traveling at 150 miles per hour near Woodrose, continuing to flip.
I'm Lincoln John.
Boulevard. Passengers were taken into custody and passengers were later released. In early March 2024,
Your hands now! You need your hands!
were later admitted to drinking.
He's on 6. Put your hands down! He went into a parking garage. Set up. He went into a parking garage. Said, we're coming back out on Broadway. Right look on Broadway, 8th Street, Correctional 6, going east on 6. Put your hands down! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get your butt on the ground! I'm not playing games with you! Give me your hands now! Give me your hands! Give me your hands now!
The driver fled on foot and was taken into custody on 6th Street. Bird detected the odor of alcohol, and the driver later admitted to drinking. The individual was transported for medical evaluation, where a small bag of marijuana was recovered from his pocket and taken into evidence. In late May 2023, Trooper Jacob Bird with Arkansas State Police identified a silver Dodge Challenger displaying a Texas license plate registered to a different vehicle while patrolling Interstate 30 westbound. As Bird continued behind the vehicle, the driver slowed briefly before accelerating sharply, pushing past 100 miles per hour and merging onto Interstate 440 eastbound. The driver then turned off the headlights and continued at extreme speeds, reaching up to 160 miles per hour. pursuit continued to force them, where the vehicle exited and fled south before turning onto Frazier Pike near Stout Street. Bird lost sight of the vehicle and discontinued the pursuit, bringing an unusual outcome to an otherwise high-speed pursuit. In late June 2023, Trooper Jacob Burr with Arkansas State Police was advised that a dark-colored passenger car had passed another trooper on University Avenue at speeds between 80 and 90 miles per hour. Moments later, Bird observed the same vehicle pass him at 170 miles per hour at a posted 45 mile per hour zone, traveling without headlights. He made a U-turn and followed as the driver intended to evade, turning onto Chicot Road and then back toward the service road. The vehicle's lights were turned back on as Bird closed the distance and identified as a Chevrolet Caprice. The vehicle briefly stopped when Bird initiated a traffic stop, but the driver fled again, continuing at high speed and running a red light. The pursuit moved onto Interstate 30 eastbound, where the driver once again turned off the headlights while attempting to evade.
Shot 65th and 30. I've got a box telling me that he took off on foot west on 65th. West on 65th. The car's clear. Car's clear. On the interstate? Interstate? He said he got on the interstate. He ran to get back on the westbound toward the interstate. I've got him on the service road. The black male, white shirt.
Myself immensely over the last few months, but now they're going to do it even more. So we will see that same, oil and gas barons like the Halliburton,
Alexa, play the next song,
and so forth. All of them reaping billions of dollars in minutes if the prices keep on going up, and if the other competitors to their export, meaning mainly Gulf or Arabian Peninsula monarchies, they will benefit if those monarchies stop exporting. So there's a game on the one hand, and I think this is why Iran and China are trying very hard not to get the oil prices to explode, because everybody in the world on the planet is harmed.
What's the name of this?
The United States, as a regime, yes, the population in the United States will be harmed if the prices keep on going up. But the rising prices will enrich that elite in the United States that have been pushing for these wars. Now, when we look at the shortages that the United States is facing, that you mentioned, of anti-air defense systems and munitions in general, that are very dependent on the magnets and other metals and so forth, precious metals that China has now limited. This is actually adds to this idea. If the United States is not be able to fight this war because it has shortages, and it already knows that it lost 2 rounds of this war against Iran, well, what is the options in front of it to continue to weaken its competitors around the world, or to benefit more from this chaotic situation. And that's when we fall down to this idea that the US wants actually these Gulf vassals to commit suicide, to drag themselves into wars that they will suffer from, and that their exports of oil and gas will be at shortage, and then specifically China will be more and more dependent on Russian and Iranian oil. And as we see, the US is increasing the heat on Russia and on Iran. So who knows what backup does China have if the shortages of oil and gas. Right. So, and then we put that in the picture of, you mentioned the Bab el-Mandeb. And again, we see that the US is actually provoking Yemen to get to this point of blockading Bab el-Mandeb and starting a toll on it. So, in a way, there's multiple ways that the US can benefit from this situation, even when it's losing the war directly.
Here is another faction in Iraq, Saraya Awliya al-Dam, has issued a statement demanding that Iraq sever diplomatic and economic relations with Saudi Arabia and expel the Saudi ambassador. The statement called on the government to review the recent agreements with the United States and cancel the planned visit to the Hejaz. This is new for the Iraqi government. The guy, the prime minister, was elected just weeks ago. This is something new for him. He went to the United States, then he went to Iran, he went to Turkey, and he tried to play a political game. And right now he's in the middle of some sort of chaos happening in Iraq, and he cannot ignore the attack. The problem is that he cannot ignore it, and these people are putting pressure on him. How do you feel, Leif, that the United States was somehow trying to make some sort of division within Iraq, disarmament of the acts of resistance in Iraq and Hezbollah, and right now these attacks are somehow unifying the country and putting pressure on the Prime Minister of Iraq?
Some of those attacks last night in Iraq were on Karbala. This is the holy city where the tomb of Hussein is, and near it is the tomb of Ali, of course, in Najaf. So this was a religious provocation, and the reason that Saraya Alwiyat al-Dam is mentioning the trip to Hejaz of the Prime Minister is because the holy sites in Iraq have been attacked, and now you're going to go into pilgrimage to Hejaz that is safe and nobody attacks it and so forth. So I think this is part of the idea that the Saudis and Americans have, is to create religious strife in Iraq. And when we see these Shia militias speaking about Karbala and the damage to Karbala and the attacks on Karbala, and then putting it in the context of what's happening in the Hajj and Hijaz and so forth, this is already indicating that maybe we will see now a rise of a new kind of ISIS or so forth that the Americans and the Saudis may be planning. I'm not too worried about that, by the way, because the vast majority of Wahhabi death squad mercenaries around the world have been, slaughtered in Syria and or now have been dispersed by the British regime to other conflict regions in Africa, specifically to continue destabilizing regions like the Sahel and the Horn of Africa. So there's not much that the Saudis can do in terms of bringing sorry about that, foreign Wahhabi death squads, but they can be paying off people that are Iraqis to try to create militias, but they will have, I think, not much luck, especially that the Kurdish militias are very busy right now defending their territory and the fact that Iraq is pounding them almost on a daily basis. So I don't know how far the Saudis and the Americans think that they can drive a wedge within the society in Iraq. The Prime Minister of Iraq right now is on kind of notice by the resistance forces in the country that he should be trying to get retaliation on behalf of the population, and if he doesn't actually work on that, if he doesn't get the armed forces of Iraq to officially retaliate, they will be retaliating, and that's what the United States wants. The United States wants actually that the Iraqi government starts to have a confrontation with the resistance forces, and partially this was the plan with this attack.
It doesn't seem that coming. Here is what Donald Trump said, told Fox News, that the attacks on PMF overnight were coordinated with the Iraqi government. This is hugely consequential for the Iraqi government if that's the case, and I don't know how can they manage that.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a big question. If actually it's true or if it's just made up. If Trump is basically, exposing this prime minister to try to get him to forcefully have a confrontation with Hezbollah Iraq, as Saraya earlier discussed. So I wouldn't believe it yet. And clearly, Iraqi military, which the PMF are part of, would have had to get some idea about this attack if the Prime Minister supposedly approved it. Except if we have now a split between the Prime Minister and the Minister of Defense and
Here comes Santa
the
Claus.
Commander-in-Chief of the military.
Yeah, it's
That's
best
the
if we
big,
don't like each other.
question mark. Is there that? We know in Lebanon there's this kind of confrontation between
Make them think you
the
betrayed.
Prime Minister, President, and the Chief of Staff, the head of the army. The army is refusing to attack Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the United States is attacking Hezbollah, or Israel is, and claiming that they're doing it in coordination with the Prime Minister. So maybe we're reaching an exact moment in Iraq as we are seeing in Lebanon, but we don't have the full indications that we have and the full disclosures that we have in Lebanon. We have a Prime Minister and a President in Lebanon that are going to Washington, D.C. and coordinating directly. In this situation, we haven't had statements from the Prime Minister of Iraq that are anywhere close to the collaborationist status of the President of Lebanon. So I think we should
Alexa,
wait and see.
play Christmas music
But
from
in any case,
1936.
the Prime Minister of Iraq right now is between a rock and a hard place, and he has to take a public position either for these attacks and or against them, and he
Was
has
I?
an inclusive position because neither the Axis of Resistance forces in Iraq nor the Americans or the Saudis will accept a statement that is half-half.
Italy,
The
Not
point when
Tories.
Iran attacked on Jordan was something new. Iran going on a preemptive attack. Donald Trump, in the same interview that I've just mentioned, he said that they're going to respond to Iran and they're going to retaliate, and they're going to retaliate hard. It seems that tonight we're going to have a new round of attacks on Iran, maybe in the southern part and the western part of Iran. This is what's going on. The oil yesterday, the price of oil increased by 4.4%. Right now, as we talk, it's $89 per barrel. And when you see the face of what's going on in the West Asia, you see Iran attacking Jordan, not focusing on Kuwait and Bahrain. And last night, at the same time they were attacking Jordan, there were some targets in Iraqi Kurdistan as well. So on the other hand, you see the fight between Saudi Arabia and Yemen, and then right now Iraq is coming. Is that gonna help
placebo effect, I guess.
U.S. position in your opinion? I assume that Israel would benefit from what's going on, but I don't know how long that the United States can continue this sort of chaos, and how is that gonna help those allies of the United States in the region?
Yeah, well,
Shoot the
these
messenger,
attacks
they
on
always do.
Jordan, I think, were very, very significant. Although, like, these Jordanian regime is releasing videos claiming that it shot down all the ballistic missiles. I doubt that is true. There's no way to verify, obviously, until we see some
other people
Iranian
depend
satellite
on that.
images. But the reason that the Iranian government and military forces are concentrating on Jordan is because the American bases in Kuwait, in Emirates, in Qatar, in Bahrain, in Iraq are out of commission. And right now, the last hub of American force and command and control outside the Jewish colony is in Jordan. So Iran needs to wipe out this presence from Jordan to make it that the next stage is ready. In the situation where there's a major attack by the United States, which is going to be depending on long-range bombers and or aircrafts that are stationed in Eastern Europe and in the Jewish colony, with refuelers flying out of the Jewish colony to help these bombers, then Iran will have to and the sources of attacks in Eastern Europe, in Cyprus,
Okay, got me good.
the island of Greece,
We might have just
and
woke
in
up part of the house.
Bulgaria or the Bulgaria,
man.
one of the
It's 9:30. It's time to wake up anyway. Did you make that?
Bulgaria that
I
is
did make
hosting
it.
now
With
those
the maker that we have?
Yeah.
Nice.
and some of the squadrons.
Yeah, do you want to
So
try some?
that cannot happen if there's all these air defenses in Western
Why are you
Gaza
wanting something
trying to
now?
intercept Iranian
I'll let
missiles
you
as they hit
You want me to
those
start
further
that
bases.
pizza?
So this is why I think Iran did this preemptive attack to take out of commission
Do you want
the
anything while you're
remaining
waiting?
parts of American forces and defensive lines in Jordan,
Oh, crap.
to open the door for the next stage if the United States is
Sure.
conduct a major attack, and if those countries in Eastern Europe are stupid enough also to allow the United States to
Very good.
use their territory.
Thank you.
I didn't know
What is going on lately in Lebanon? Yesterday we had some reports that Israel is attacking the region of the
Ali Tahir.
Ali Tahir, yeah, mountain, that fortress.
We're gonna have to get more
We
of
were
that
talking about it
kind.
before. It's so
Yeah.
important. And what they were attacking today, they said they have, Lebanon was attacking using drones. Then they
Oh,
have
my heart's still
now they
racing
have
from
to
that one,
respond.
dude. Holy
What is the
smokes.
situation?
Speaking,
Jesus!
there's a drone flying.
Didn't even hear you at all.
It's one of many that are flying all around the country currently. So there's that psychological warfare.
I didn't hear
there's
you
the
till
possibility
right till
that
you
they'll
did
be
that
attacking,
right next to my
outside
ear.
the south,
That's,
retaliation
It's
to
okay.
their
Can use a good
last
jump
night.
scare every once in a while.
The FPV attack that Hezbollah conducted targeted a engineering core, meaning
It's like a shot
excavators and so
therapy.
forth, bulldozers that were moving towards Ali Tahir Hill. And as we see, Ali Tahir Hill is very, very important for Hezbollah, for the defense of all of the south of Lebanon. It's, some people
Sicilian
claim that one of the Mughniya
Oh, wait, no.
or Imad, sorry,
Ultra
major bunkers are inside there, and it's been bombed for 3 years now straight almost, Ali Tahir, and they haven't been able to penetrate the defensive the entrances and or the tunnels and bases inside still the Israelis. So and Hezbollah is, with this operation last night, is saying to the collaborationist regime here in Lebanon that it doesn't care about its negotiations with the Jewish colony, and that it is saying to the Jewish colony itself that it will not allow movement of Israeli troops inside occupied Lebanese territory
Alexa, volume
without
3.
being targeted. So Ali Tahir Hill came under attack a few hours ago by the Israelis. We're expecting that there will be back and forth. This comes at the same time as the Lebanese military is entering the 3 zones that are supposed to be test zones for Israeli withdrawal. 2 of those zones being never occupied, and the Israelis never withdrawing from them. I think we will see a moment if there's a direct confrontation on a bigger scale that the Lebanese army will withdraw again.
What I asked him yesterday when I made him,
there was
he said he didn't want to care for the carrot cake aspect part of it, but now he wants to try it.
A storage area for
I think he smelled them and they smell
one of the
good.
villages that it entered. We haven't seen any images of it yet, but most probably the Lebanese army is going to destroy those weapons as it did before whenever it found any Hezbollah weapons.
It means no
Do you see a scenario under which all components, all parts of the axis of resistance come into the fight, come into new escalations that may happen between the 2 sides?
I wonder that question also myself for the last 2.5 years, and every day I become more and more
Yeah, you see why it's so bothersome too when we have
the
to do
axis
those
of
classes and the
resistance,
reality
members
of
have
the
decided
stark abuse and
make
stuff
this
going
more
on,
of a church.
the importance of the
Not because
education, so
they don't value
not too
their
much
own
is put
people
on.
or
Yeah, it
the
seems like
life
a lot of the
of
abuse and
population
pressure gets
or
put on
economic
so many
situation,
innocent
but
that don't
because
even have
they
any control
would
over
rather
the
not drag humanity into a nuclear war.
You
This
can, I guess,
death
become
by
enlightened with the things you
1,000
become
cuts
enlightened to, and we become enlightened with the
strategy.
things we do.
You have an empire
That's
and a
okay.
Jewish colony that both of them have nuclear weapons, and if you defeat them resoundingly all at once, or if you go full force on them all at once, they may use these nuclear weapons. So you want to slowly and in stages deplete the power of this empire and this Jewish colony and make them not use nuclear weapons as the defeat comes. So I doubt that all the Axis of Resistance members will fight simultaneously, although we saw smaller instances like that during the beginnings of the war in Gaza, when we saw the Iraqi resistance, Hezbollah, and the Yemeni resistance defending Palestine, and Iran stood out of that for a minute until we saw the 12-day war happening, right? But even during the 12-day war, not all of the Axis of Resistance members joined Iran. And even during the 40-day war, again, not all of the Axis of Resistance members joined Iran. And this is not because they don't want to join. It's because there is roles and stages and conditions for each one of those members to use the weapons that they have. You don't want basically the Axis of Resistance members also to use all their weapons all at once and then find some surprises or weakening one of the fronts because it used their weapons not in a defensive posture against attacks on that component, but on defending another component. So there's a wider strategy. We don't know the components, their stockpiles, how they are, what's their powers, what's their role within this Axis of Resistance, because we're not in those command and control centers of the Axis of Resistance. But I am sure there is a strategy that we and the enemy doesn't fully recognize because we're not in that.
We don't have the full assessment of the Iraqi forces or Iraqi government about the main targets of these attacks. Were they all focused on the weapons, or they were trying to at the same time weapons and ammunitions maybe, and together with the assassinations? This is important because then you're gonna have the same thing happening to Saudi Arabia. This is something new, and it was all about hitting targets in Saudi Arabia. Iranian hitting targets considering American bases on their soil. but they're escalating the war the way that they can do the same to them. They can assassinate some of the, some of the high-ranked
There it
people
is.
in Saudi Arabia. And is that going to happen, in your opinion, if they somehow come to some sort of conclusion that it was some sort of assassination
No,
on their
it's
soil?
the
And how is
banana
that
bread
gonna?
one.
How are they gonna respond to that?
The carrot
You know,
cake.
As the pursuit
the
progressed,
choice
Byrd
by
moved
the
into
Saudis
position
and
and
the
executed
Americans
hit
to
maneuver with
attack
the
the
Jeep,
PMF
bending the pursuit
What was the
office
other one? Oh yes, the blueberry crumble.
is actually
No,
an
I don't have to
indicator
get,
of
but those are the ones that he
how,
wants me to get.
you know, they were just trying to be vicious. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
these are offices that everybody
I like
knows
all
where
three
they
of those
are.
too, so works out
The
pretty
weapons
good.
that were targeted were part of the stockpile of the Iraqi military, declared where they are put these weapons. These are weapons that were not going to be used by
Right, I mean there's a
Hezbollah,
house on
Iraq,
fire
or
somewhere,
other
but
factions
can't
of the
really
Axis of
complain about
Resistance
that, you know.
within Iraq. So this was more of bloodlust, and even the martyrs and injured of the PMF, even if they were high-ranking, these are not members
In
of
August
Hezbollah Iraq.
2022,
Okay,
Arkansas
so these
State
are not
Police were
decision
involved in a
makers
pursuit of
within
the Dodge
the
Challenger
active
warranty.
resistance
Trooper Jacob Byrd
components
was among the units
inside
engaged
Iraq.
as the
So
driver attempted to
the
evade.
only
The vehicle continued
the only
its
thing that we
speed
can
before the
see
driver
it
lost
as,
control, leaving the road.
you know, once we assess what is the tactical value of such a thing, is to create that strife within the Iraqi armed forces and within the Shia population specifically, because we have a prime minister who's Shia, who is collaborating, and the targets were mainly Shia officers and in Shia locations like the Karbala. So this was a provocation to create internal strife. That's the only real tactical value of what the US and the Saudis did in these attacks. Now, how will the Axis of Resistance members, the Iraqi Hezbollah, respond if they want to assassinate? I mean, assassinating Saudi generals is like assassinating SpongeBob. Okay? This is fat cats that have never fought a war, that you know, went got their paid for their education. They probably have elementary school reading capabilities, these Saudi generals, and in fact they just take orders from American generals. All right, so if Hezbollah Iraq and other Axis of Resistance members in Iraq want to retaliate in kind, they will not be targeting Saudi generals. They will have to target American presence around Iraq. They will have to look and find where the American officers are hiding and what hotel in Riyadh to target it, and because that will be actually painful for the Americans. Losing a few Saudi officers and generals is like losing some dust on your car.
It's getting difficult. I think Saudi Arabia fully understands that. Thank you so much, Leif, for being with us today. Please go to freepalestine.video right below Leif's name. You can see that freepalestine.video and support Leif Marouf. And he's doing a tremendous job. He's doing amazing in Beirut and providing us with information that no one else is capable or is able to do. Thank you so much, Leif.
Thank you very much, Nina. See you next week.
See you next week.